Hello everyone, this is Brandon, and I thought I might show you guys how I design a level in Froghop. This is just to kind of show you what the status of the game is, so I'm going to give a little bit of news while I kind of show kind of my level design process and how I kind of go about making levels. So right here I have a empty room, and right now I'm trying to design a level that introduces one of the new mechanics of the game. If you played the Froghop demo, you might recognize, at least played far enough, you might recognize this green thing right here. That's a swing node, and when you use your tongue ability on it, you'll change your state, and you will be able to swing around it. So there's another one I got for the next area of the game, which is called a sling node, and this one's a little bit different. I might be able to show what it does. Let's see if I can do that. Okay, so whenever I go about designing levels in this game, I usually try to design it around progression. So in this case, certain levels might just be built around trying to introduce new enemies and put them in different formations and such to try to make the player think a little bit past just, oh, it's an enemy, I don't know. It's like it's basically just trying to give them situations, unique situations and such with each enemy. So I'm gonna add the player object. I gotta add the HUD object, or the HUD if you have problems with that, and controller object that will help. The controller object's basically meant to check like the status of the player and such, and like what room we're in and all that stuff. That makes sense. So it's kind of like the overseer, the silent overseer of the game. So I'll show you guys what this object does. Let's just get I actually don't have the tile set for my next area in the game, but we'll just use my default World 1 sprites or tiles. So alright, I think that's good. We'll just give it time to compile. So while it's compiling, I can kind of talk about what the status of Froghop is. And I know that if you're checking out my blog spot, you might notice that I'm like posting like news on different games that I've been working on, and I am working on them, but right now they've been kind of on the side because I definitely think that Froghop is a game I can finish, and I think it's a game that is taking a lot longer than it needs to for such a simple game. So right now my goals, I'm just trying to get as much of this the actual content of the game done. And then eventually add the charm features. If I haven't discussed charms, charms are an equipable that you can purchase with the gems, and they will change. You can only equip one, and they're permanent once you buy them, and you can equip them whenever you want, and they will change like your state, or they might alter your moves and such. So for example, one idea is the lower your health is, the longer your tongue, but the more health you have, the shorter your tongue becomes. So it's kind of like it basically is meant to change your playstyle. There's also one that will I plan that might make it so you move faster underwater, but you maybe like your jump height is reduced when you're on normal ground, or you can't walk very fast on the ground at all because I don't know. Just like so, there's like little trade-offs like that. Some of them have very extreme trade-offs, but some of them have very subtle to the point where some of them are actually just have positives and don't have negatives. So that's basically what we've got planned for the game. So I'm pretty much reducing the scope of this game quite a bit so that I can actually finish it, and hopefully put it on Steam and maybe sell it not going to sell it for too much, definitely. It's not going to be too much. That's if it even gets past the green light. If it doesn't, I'll try Humble Store, and if that fails, then I don't know. It would be awesome if I could get by with this, but the reality is I gotta keep well, I don't want to think too much. I don't want to have too many expectations on that. So for now, I'm just trying to work on some new content, actual content, because when this game's been worked on for like 2 years, at least not 24/7. I don't work like 12 hours every day like a hardcore indie, but a lot of the game was focused more on adding like unique instances and objects. Like this is an instance, or like an object, I guess. Just like unique things like this. Like this one I actually liked adding, but that I think actually would contribute. But I felt I added way too much stuff that doesn't really contribute to the actual content of the game. If that, I know that doesn't make any sense. Like it doesn't fall into the amount of like the progression that I need for a game. So it's like I add like a let me look at one. Like I spent time adding a monkey. What does he do? Well, he just climbs on trees up and down. So it's like it's cool to have a level themed around that, and I definitely want to have that. But it's kind of like he doesn't contribute to the actual overall like flow of the game. So it's like things like that that I kept investing my time into. It's not to say there was some stuff that I invested my time into that like will actually go into like the actual like progression of the game, but it was more just adding rooms to an instance tester room, and that's nice and all, but it's better when I actually focus on adding content, because that's part of the reason why I was able to get Tempura done in a month, was because I actually had a very good, well planned out system, and I had an idea of what every single level was going to teach, and yeah, it worked out very well. It was a very good system. I was able to be very efficient with my production. I was surprised how I was able to get it done that quick. It was so stressful to do, but that's basically the idea. Is like I didn't focus on making levels. I focused more on making objects. So that's more of what this is right now. I'm trying to design a level that introduces again this red thing. I'm trying to show you guys it once it loads. The game maker takes a long time to compile, so yeah. Yeah, Froghop, in terms of its demographic and its, sales, like, it's not fun to discuss this because a game like this really doesn't, it doesn't really stand a chance compared to so many other games. Like, it's one of those games that just kind of be like, well, I can't jump to conclusions either. It's just, in reality, it doesn't have the power of visual appeal. Which is like a huge driving force of a lot of games today. So instead, it's just gonna focus on trying to be its own thing. It's just gonna be, you know what, this is a game for. It is E for everyone. It's a cartoony, violent. It just has cartoony violence, but it's again just a silly, little, innocent, lighthearted game about a frog. And if you like light, good, simple platforming games, with a little bit of challenge sometimes. Then maybe Froghop's free. So that's really what its target is. So, okay, awesome. Now we're in the game. So, yeah, as you can see, you basically hold down the tongue ability, your tongue attack, and then the moment you can move around and jump. But the farther you are, you can see the node is actually starting to get lighter and lighter. So, I would end up launching myself off the screen if I do that, but yeah, there you go. So that's what the red node does. I'm kind of hesitant to show all the new stuff that I've added, but for the sake of this video, I think it's good to show you guys, what's going on. So yeah, that's basically what this thing does. It adds a lot of utility, and it gives a lot of power to the player because they can launch themselves across the map if they want. So there's a lot of things, and there's a lot of clever things they can do with it. So yep. So that's the sling node. So let's go ahead and work on more of this level. So basically, at this point, this is actually the third world of the game. So I've already taught the player only like 2 different nodes in the game, which are the green one right here, the swing node, and this yellow one. So yeah. So I think we're just gonna go ahead and try to build a level around it. So let's. I like this little template we got here going on, and so maybe the first area, I think we'll make the first room kind of just have the player kind of remember and kind of recognize what these nodes were, but we'll just kind of let them go ahead and just leave. Trying to think of how, because they're just gonna kind of be on the side, just to kind of make the player remember, like just to kind of remind them what these are. Like even though they're not, I know the player's not stupid once they've encountered this like more than once, and they've used them more than once. But it's just to help them just refresh their memory a little bit. That's all. It's not meant to. I'm not trying to force them to use it. It's just their own discretion if they want to kind of at least take note of it that it's there. So So we're gonna place that there, and then I'm just trying to think of like we could have like a. I'm gonna put this here. Maybe the players will figure out that they can pick up stuff, and we'll have a life up here. So to get this life, the player will need to. Let's actually shift everything down a little bit. Let's do 18 maybe. All right, that's good. Basically, this is supposed to kind of teach the player to that if they at least just out of experimentation, because that's kind of how you have to learn things in this game. You press jump to release out of a swing node. So I'm gonna have them do that. Just adding my tiles. It's a very inefficient tool system, but you know it works, and it does give me. I will say one advantage to repainting everything with tiles is that it does give me more control over where I want to place my tiles. But in reality, what I'm doing is actually it's definitely not as efficient as it could be. So there you have that. I usually make my walls very high in the game. Oh no, I got an idea. We're gonna make them combo. They're gonna combo from a trampoline into a snap node. So that's cool. It's always cool to make the player combo into something. So that looks nice. Let's add an enemy because it's fun to add enemies. Just add a hedgehog. Block there, just to. It's just gonna be a really rough tile layout. I'm not gonna do too much cleanup with tiles. Let's add a hedgehog there. I'm just gonna add a heart here, I guess. And I don't know about that. Well, at this point, the player already has learned to do a super jump, and they know. Well, maybe they'll know about that they can aim their tongue diagonally, but I'll just put that there. Why not? Just to troll them, I guess. We'll see. But they can super jump up and grab that too. So yeah, it's okay. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's good. Let's go ahead at Black's region. This is just to help signify the door is there. So let's just go name our room R. So this is just to help me in the future when I have to design my levels. Or is it 0, 0? I think it's 0, 0. Yeah. Okay. Let's go duplicate it. We could test it right now actually, but let's let's first name this next room R1. So this next room is the room that we're going to teach the player, because the first room was basically meant to introduce the player to a new mechanic in the game. So we're not gonna work on coding any instances. We're just gonna focus on making this level. We're gonna work on trying to show them different things they can do with that ability, and yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be fun torturing the player and putting them in a hallway of spikes, and then they have to jump through it with pixel precision. Yeah, and then we randomly have a boulder fall from the sky, and then it kills him instantly. Like, I want to be the guy. Yep. It'll be fair. No. That's not how you make a level. that's how you torture the player. Whoa. Don't know what's going on there. Alright, so let's go clean everything up. Let's clear all the tiles. Let's place the player object. Let's put him down here. It's a pretty good height. Let's make 270. 270 sounds good. And maybe 500. That's a big room. Wow, that's huge. That should be plenty of playing space for the player to. I'm just gonna add this here because sometimes it's cool just to have interesting geography, different kinds of terrain shapes. So instead of just creating a giant wall that just goes vertically upwards to signify that's the end of the level, you can just kind of have like this little elongated little ledge. I don't even know what that is. I don't know what you call that, but yeah. Let's go create a door too so we can go into this next area. I have to code that in since I don't have any sort of tool that allows me to just link doors from between rooms. I have to code that in a script, which I'll do that. Do that in a second. Let me just put that black spot there. Let's. Oh, you gotta make this room. We could have to make it bigger actually. 500. Whoa, that's too much. No. Yeah, that's good. That'll do for now. All right, so we're gonna have the player fall into a really deep pit. Well, sort of a deep pit, and then we're just gonna kind of force them into a situation where they can't quite reach the top of this cliff, no matter what they do, unless they jump off, and fall into this pit. So this is one of those situations where I'm kind of forcing the player to learn something new. And it sounds like it's impossible. Like, what if they don't figure it out? Well, if they somehow have not figured it out when I've taught them about the other nodes, which are the swing and the snap node, then I think, then I don't know. I think there's something wrong with. Then I think I don't know. I even tell the player to use their tongue ability on the very first one. So I'm pretty quite confident the player will eventually realize, oh, I wonder if I can do the same thing that I did with the green ones. So we're gonna have to force the player to jump here. Trying to think of. Well, we'll have to test that, I guess. Yeah, let's go ahead and test that. Okay, so it's 1330 door start, I believe. Yeah, here we go. So this is where my script that checks what room to go into next, basically. So let's go ahead and do this. Just copy paste this. 30, I guess, is the name of the room. Yeah, world 3. This is world 3. 30. That's door number 0, goes to the first room. And we'll just, we'll make the other room go back to the first room as well. If that makes sense, I hope it does. So anyways, yeah, let's go ahead and compile. And we'll go ahead and test that out. Yep. Yeah, I imagine this game will take around maybe an hour to beat. Maybe an hour. If it's like an intermediate player, I can imagine them beating it. Like someone who's familiar with platformers, I can imagine them beating it in maybe like an hour to 2 hours is about how long this game is. If they play relatively quick. I know a speed run of this game could probably take maybe 40 minutes if they just play really fast. That's how long I think the game could take. It's a pretty short game. It's not going to be the longest game in the world, but I'm going to make sure to add a hard mode too, so that it actually has the difficulty that I thoroughly like in games. So, and normally in itself, like even a casual player seems to struggle with this game a lot. Cool, that works perfectly. Yeah. Some players, when I teach them about the swing node in the very beginning, I only tell them to hold up and down, and up in a tongue attack. So because you can aim the tongue up as well. If they still did not experiment, that you can aim in different directions with your tongue. So yeah, I teach them that, and then they attach to it, and then I don't say anything else, and then they just kind of, I'm pretty confident players just kind of realize they can do this. But some players kind of don't realize that they can like press jump to exit the swing node, and some players like already know that they can use their tongue ability right away. So I don't know, that's just kind of, that works pretty well. That was kind of weird. Hold on a second. Nice. And then oh, you can just do that actually. That's not bad. Yeah, I'm okay with that. Whoa. Oh, I forgot the controller and HUD object. HUD if you are OCD about me saying HUD. So the HUD object is in the controller object. All right, perfect. This basically I'm working on World 3 right now, and it's supposed to be more of like a mountainous area. So it's gonna be a mixed bag. It's just cause like there's gonna be snow. There's gonna be some snow themed levels, like more like ice. Like I can't really think of anything at the moment very clever with snow. That actually would add something to the game. But yeah, that's why I'm kind of teaching the sling node, because I think that extra degree of verticality that sling node adds is really going to give it add a lot to that level. And I do need to add a fly to teach the player. I think I know exactly which one, but I'm probably not going to teach it on this level. So, and let's see, can I do this? Yep. Cool. Alright, so, yeah, okay, I can't go left because there's a wall in my way. Okay, let's go right. So, not high enough. Dang. Oh, what, I'm stuck. Well, maybe this thing looks kind of familiar. What if I use my tongue? And then they do that because they just, release the button. So the hopeful thing is that they realize they can just hold on to the tongue ability to pull all the way. So that's the hope thing. It's kind of be one of those forced. It's just gonna have to be one of those experimentally taught things. And I think players will eventually realize that. They'll realize that they just have to, they can hold the tongue ability down. So they can move. They'll figure that out on their own, I guess. They just have to. It's more of just an intuitive teaching system. It's not. I'm not trying to have a giant text box or any kind of text appear in their way. It's just kind of they already have seen something like this. They know they have to use their tongue, and they just gotta try it out for themselves. Like I think the player should be, I guess, respected for their intelligence. If that sounds really corny enough, but yeah, wow, that worked really well actually. And you could escape it, but you're not going to get anything out of it. So, but even if they try to get angle it this way, they're going to realize they can go over that hedge or that ledge right on the right. So that's good. All right, let's keep adding more to it. Let's just let the player have some fun with this now. So let's do it again. We'll have one up here, and we'll make that so that they can. And this part right here is an optional area that they can reach, but they'll find out that they can't. They're gonna bump into this wall. So maybe the hopeful thing I'll teach the player here is that they can. Let's just go here. Um, let's have an opening here. Let's have multiple routes. It's fine to have multiple routes. Why not? Let's see, sling node. Let's have an optional area as well here. I'm gonna put the node here, and then the idea here is the player will maybe realize they can launch really far across. So we'll show that too. So it's not just about verticality; it's also about horizontal movement as well. So that'll be really interesting. And maybe we'll have this lead into this. This will be like a cave under here in the lower section there. I wonder if this screen's a little too small, so I'm actually gonna make this window a little bigger. So this part right here is meant to, if the player still has not realized it, because right now they, at this point in the first one, they probably only figured out that they can hold down the tongue ability to get full power, or just so they can actually touch the ground. So their tongue can fully extend from the distance of the sling node. But up here, if they just try this tongue and then they just release, and they're in the center area here, they're just going to bump into this wall. So they're going to have to maybe realize that they can angle their shot as well. So that's the point of this section, this part right here. So, but it's an optional area. They don't have to do this if they still have not realized it. But again, it does help that they might figure that out. So paint this in. You can see how this can get really inefficient, and it is inefficient, but it works. And I'm not trying to make the next Fez braid. I'm not trying to make the next Halo. Yeah. So, I know some of them looks kind of boring. Let's add some enemies. We need an enemy or two. We'll add a rabbit here, I guess, because why not? Actually, I'm trying to think of an enemy that's not gonna be a pain. The thing is, this section is more of a teaching area, so I don't know if I want to interrupt too much. That's why I'm trying to find an enemy that's kind of passive, so I think a bird might be a good idea. Got some birds here. I don't know about this section right here. At this point, it's kind of the game's already taught everything that you need to know about the sling node. Now it's just the potential for how far you can fly yourself across the map and such. That's what it's all about in the end. It's just letting the player just do whatever they want with these. So we'll have a heart there just to reward them for learning this new thing. So give them a heart. Give them a life here, maybe. Let's get a gem. Let's add a gem, because that's kind of like a teaching area. Like, if they figured it out on their own, blah, blah, blah. If they figured it out on their own, then they should get rewarded for this one. It's not too hard to figure out, I don't think. So that's kind of like a learning section again. Reward the player for that. I don't know. Blah, 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 blah. No, I don't know. Let's go ahead and test this out. So let's compile, and yeah. So it really, when it comes to designing levels, it's not, I mean, there's some levels I still try to design around progression and trying to teach them certain things. Like this level's a little bit intensive because it's trying to figure out different teaching methods, or trying to teach them all sorts of different things they can do with this little gimmick. So, but there's some levels that are just about a new enemy and just kind of like, it's kind of more like a, just like a, I'm trying to think of a word. Just like a skill section where it's just like you have to get really good, not overly precise, well, sometimes precise jumps. Like, you know what I mean? Like kind of like the really athletic levels from Mario 3, like Mario games, and such. But it's also just, when it comes to those kind of levels, it's more about trying to mix up things and trying to have as much variety in the geometry as much as possible. So, sweet. All right, let's snap node. Here's your reward for doing, because, okay, and then they're probably going to see this no matter what. They're going to see this next one when they fly in the air. Yeah, they're going to see it just on the corner of their screen. They're going to notice something. So they do it again. Whoosh, boink. All right, so maybe boink. And they still have air control, so I think they'll realize they can kind of maneuver themselves around this. So that'll be kind of neat. I like that. I like that. That's nice. It's a nice optional section. Little bird enemy. Be careful of that. There will be other enemies, of course. Ah, okay, wait. You can super jump up here, because I wanted to give the player that. I respect the player's intelligence to realize that they can also do this. That actually looked kind of broken, but whatever. You know, whatever. Let the player do whatever they want. I'm not gonna hold them back with anything. But I need to angle this up, I think. Yeah, let's move it up a little bit. Usually I want to add more enemies. Sometimes I have this unhealthy desire to keep adding new stuff, but let's go add some spikes. Let's add a spike. Let's add a spike right here. I'm gonna force them to notice that. So the way I'm gonna do so you think, okay, so you use the sling node to get over this ledge on the right here, right? But instead of just, oh, let's just make them sling node, you know, in like or up, and then they'll go over this. Let's make it so there's this little catch right here. There's a spike, but some players might fall down here and they won't notice it. So to kind of make them hopefully be more attentive to that, is we're gonna put some plats here as well, just so the player notices that, and then we're going to do this. Yeah, that looks good. And so the point here is when the player reaches, you know, right next to this bird right here, when the player's, just use this, okay, the player's here, he's going to see these spikes. I mean, and if he doesn't, then that's his own fault. This is kind of like hinting at the player there's some danger on this side. So it's kind of like passive danger. It's like, oh, well, there's a wall between me and that, so it's not bad. But it's kind of like a foreshadowing, a warning to the player. So instead of just being cheap and just having them launch into the spikes without any sort of hint, I kind of make them notice, or try to make them notice that there's something a little off going on about these spikes. So it's kind of hinting, and they might see this sling node too, so they might get some gears turning once they see that. So I like that. It's a little catch to it, a little bit of danger to teach them as well. So there's also a degree of caution, but I don't want them to be too overly cautious in this level. I want them just to kind of just be aware of their surroundings. Like they can't just be, they can't just think, they can't think too, they have to think ahead of time, I guess, if that makes sense. So it would see like there's a difference between warning them that spikes are up here by letting them see it, and then just putting spikes like here. It's like, or what if I put it like this? Like, how are they supposed to know? Like when they first play, like that's kind of, and you know, in the end, like there are going to be levels like that in this game, at least on hard mode, or maybe late game in the normal difficulty. But, and that's just, it's just going to be trial and error. It just is. That's just how games are. Period. So, so I would probably do something mean like this on hard, but on normal, I would just warn them about this. So I could do this though, just to kind of screw around with them. Trying to think of an enemy to add, something fun to add. Hedgehogs are always fun to add. Yeah, I'm kind of spoiling stuff. I'm not too happy about that, but squirrels are fun. I like squirrels. I like that section a lot. I was gonna add the ability for the sling notes to maybe make it so you can like bust through like walls and such, at least like certain kinds of like rock walls. So that was gonna be one thing I was thinking of. But I'm not gonna have enough time to add stuff, so. Here, I got an idea. Let's add a sling note here in case they want to get out up here. They want to go up here, so I'm gonna add this one up here. It's going to be really high up, but then what's going to happen is, so this is kind of a lead, this is kind of a combo section right here. So to get to this one, if they miss it, and then when they jump off the ledge, is they connect to the snap node, and then they have to connect to this one. So they're going to lose the platform from the yellow one, or not actually, and then they can just sling. Actually, yeah, it's just a combo. It's cool. I like combo. It's cool when you can, the best thing about adding stuff is when it all actually leads into the next, or like it all mixes within each other. Like Portal 2 does a very good job with that because it's just gimmicks. It's all gimmicks, but the thing that makes it so fascinating is the fact that they all can be used in such interesting combinations. That's why it's so interesting for Portal, and it's kind of the idea. And that's the thing about what makes like a puzzle game so, you know, enjoyable, is like well designed in my opinion, is when it actually does like that, when it actually everything connects. Okay, I want to add something. I want to add some enemies. Blue hedgehogs. And then we'll add a heart pickup somewhere. Let's put it here. Why not? Why not? In case they, well, why should I reward? Nah, let's just be mean. Let's just put it there. This one's absolutely necessary though. So even if they get hurt, they're probably not going to get hurt by the bird. I mean, they can, but like they've already encountered it before, so yeah. So that's kind of, so I guess that's kind of like the thought process with this. I might call the video off here. That's a pretty lengthy video, but the point of it again was just to kind of show you guys what's going on with the game. And that, you know, I mean, when I worked on this game, I was pretty burned out. But right now I've just been kind of in the mode where I hope to just stay motivated in this game and just keep working on it and just get it done. Just get it out of the way and then work on something different. Because, like, I've been kind of in the mode where I want this game to do well, but the reality is that's just an indie pipe dream, so. And who knows if it even stands a chance to even get past Steam Greenlight, because people will just, I don't know. That's just I don't know. So that's why I'm kind of like shifting priorities to make this game just really concise, really simple, and get it out there and just move on. Because if it does well, then maybe I'll look into adding more to this game. But otherwise, it's just more of like, I can't keep wasting time like worrying about this game, and then like, because I don't want to invest time into a project that just kind of flops. Like, that's just not worth it. So, and this game does mean a lot to me, but in the end, I have to narrow the scope down, because it definitely needs to be finished. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and well, maybe I'll work on this video. Actually, if you guys like the video, maybe I'll I can work on this level more if you want. Otherwise, I'll see you guys later.